Okay, peeps, welcome back. So today we're going to be going over the grayscale trusts. With that being said, let's get into it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and fly through these real quick with you guys because I do have some stuff to do. Just so y'all know, the Fed's beige book is coming out at 11 this morning. I suspect that is probably going to move markets pretty substantially. So we'll have to wait and see on that. You can see right here, Fed beige book. Scheduled for today. It might also include the summary of economic projections, which is what the Fed kind of estimates that they're going to do going out into the future. I don't know if that gets put in there or not, but remains to be seen. So, anyways, LTCN still ran this trend line, still looking for support here at $11.50 to roughly about $13 going to the end of the year. Below that, the lower support $6.50 to about $8. You have about 13 to 15 in here. And then up here, you have 25 to 27, and then 54 is the swing highs. We can talk about the fib retracements in a later video. We'll go over that at a later point in time. So 143% move here, and then 397%. BCHG, so same thing. I'd be looking for pretty much anywhere where it's at right now, $5.50 to going up to $7 into the end of the year as support. And then 1030 to roughly about 1260 up here at the highs, or not the highs, I mean, but basically the previous resistance zone. 18 to 20 up there at that upper bound, and then 24 all the way up at the swing high. So just measuring from current prices, you're looking at 143%, roughly about 286%, and then 358% respectively. If it gets all the way out here to, let's say it just kind of trudges along this line, that's a possibility. I don't know how likely that is, but it is possible. 78%, 182, and then 234. The reason I say I'm not sure if that's likely going to be possible is because usually Bitcoin ramps up and then starts blasting off to the moon. So it's not, in my opinion, I could be wrong, but it's not likely just going to bounce around along this trend line. That's just kind of like a worst case scenario that we're looking at there. So support here on HZEN, 250 to about 290. You got your upper resistance here at 380 to 420. Then you have 690 to about 810, and then 10.5, which is the pattern target. The wedge target is the top of the wedge. So basically, pretty much this thing should end at the same price that it began at if it breaks out bullish, which I think is likely. So for some reason, I don't know what the hell is going on here. For some reason, I cannot see the actual percentage gains here. Give me a second, y'all. So about 180%, and then just to get back up to that target, roughly about 261% move. ETCG, so still sitting at the bottom of support, $8.50 to $10 there. I'd be looking at roughly about this 13 to 15.80 as a potential target. Of course, you guys can pick your own targets, so $17.60 to $20 up there at the resistance highs. So potentially a little bit more than a 2x on your money going up to that $20 range. So roughly about 80% here and 131% respectively. ETH. So the white line is what I'm looking at for worst case scenario support. If it gets below that, which I think is not likely, roughly about 1070 to 1560. And then we have targets here at, I'd say about 23.5 to about 28.5. And then you have, of course, the cup and handle target all the way up here at this kind of white vertical line here, 46. So assuming that there is a pullback into this white line, we'd be looking at roughly about 52% and 149% respectively. PhilG, so this thing is sitting right around this kind of red box. The box below this is 530 to about 13. That is more or less the bear market lows, as you guys can see, so I don't think it's likely to go down there. I'm not sure if it's going to hold this level either, though, but this level is currently 37 to 40. And then the all-time high is up there at 400. So the measured move here just from the current levels would be roughly about 790%. GBAT, this thing is sitting at the bottom of the support, but it has had support previously. Whether it holds here or not remains to be seen. So roughly about 450 to 510 at support there. Target zones 790 to about $10. and $32. I mean, of course, you guys don't have to take profit at these resistance zones if you don't want to. I mean, if you're looking to hold this thing for like the next 6 to 15 months until the end of the bull run, I mean, a lot of people do that. So 94%, 550% move. These are kind of more just position trades and maybe ways to stack or accumulate more shares. Kind of similar to what the whales do. So GLIV support here, roughly about $12 to $15, and then resistance up here at 80. That's pretty much all I'm looking at that. I don't think it comes back to these bear market lows. It's possible, but I'd say the likelihood is maybe 10% compared to 90% that this thing is going to hold and go back to all-time highs. So 480% move here on GLIV. G-Link, same ordeal, sitting at this support. It could go lower than this, but again, these are the bear market lows, and we're not even close to 2026 theoretically when we should see the bear market, so I don't think that's likely. So support here 38 to 45, resistance 65 to roughly about the 85 area, and then the highs up there are 220. So roughly about 131% move and 478% move. And I am going to go over a new metric with you guys known as the Global Liquidity Index. When we talk about the macro video that we're going to do, or talk in that one, you guys will see as well based on that chart why I think likely the bull run for crypto is not going to be over until closer towards the end of next year. So GSOL here.
Target filled.
Oh, my trade worked out. Nice. So made some money. So 300 to roughly about 350, and then 580 all the way up there at the highs. So assuming this thing does hit the bottom of support here, we'd be looking at roughly about 95% move to the upside. GXLM. So it did get below this white line. It could possibly come down to this white line here. I mean, I'd be looking at this as like, if I'm like a short-term bear and I'm like, oh God, things look just awful. Let me just go ahead and not touch this because I think it's going to drop, which I'm not really bearish on crypto, but some people are. So 1450, 1460, somewhere in that range. I'd be looking for targets all the way up here at these resistance zones. So 52 to 60, and then 70 as potential targets. Again, these white lines are kind of just like minor levels of support, not really major levels of support, just so y'all know. These zones themselves are actually major levels of support and resistance. So 253, 292, and 365. Basically, what I'm saying here is when this thing goes back up, I'm not expecting any of these white lines to be held by the bears. Likely the bears are not probably going to try to come in, or people taking profit on their long positions from these support levels here, probably not taking profit until like up here. As you guys can see what happened here. Price went from right about that support down here, went up here, and then presumably people took profit and or tried to short the stock as well. Of course, I'm not sure if these can actually be shorted or not, but we're not shorting them. So support here, roughly about 10, I'd say about 10-ish. Below that, it's roughly about $2 to, I'd say maybe $3.15. And then I'd be looking for the target at the highs. I mean, there's not really a whole lot of resistance above head. There's this $50 level. I suppose it could hold there, but as you guys know, who have been in crypto for a while, when crypto starts ripping to the moon, I mean, it can just absolutely destroy resistance zones with, I mean, bears just get wrecked. Let's just put it like that. So 560% here. I mean, it's possible they could just fly through those minor resistance areas like they're nothing, like they're not even there. Crypto is very notorious for doing that. So 440 here at support to roughly about 510, and then we got about 8 to about 960, 10 and a quarter up there at the swing high. I'm looking at this white line as a potential holding area, $3, $3.10, somewhere in there. So from current price, we'd be looking at roughly about 127 to potentially 148%. If it does get kind of a double dip back down to this white line, which, I mean, September is kind of a toss-up, so we'll have to see. 203% to 232%. So anyways, hope you all enjoyed this content. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.